There we go. Yeah, we're starting right on the money, 6:30. This is a rarity for the show for those of you listening. Usually a minute or two late, give or take, but we're firing on all cylinders today. And of all the badass things to happen in week 3, Mark, there were quite a few. We had some backups like flex. We had the Detroit Lions with a huge win over the Ravens, but nothing more badass than Dan Quinn taking it on the nose, bloodied face, and just stands up and he's like, "Oh no, I'm good. I'm good." Finishes coaching the team from the sidelines, blood running down his nose. That was quite a moment. Honestly, I don't know if you saw the actual.
Oh yeah.
The actual play. He hit the turf pretty hard there. I was like, should this guy go in the medical tent? Like, what are we doing here?
You're not getting Dan Quinn in the medical tent. He will not be walking into the blue tent. If he's getting examined or stitched up, he's one of those guys. It's like a Dan Campbell or a Mike Vrabel. Like, no, you're fucking doing it as I'm coaching and walking and like trying to stitch me up or whatever. Exactly. I will say, if you didn't see it, it's one of those the Washington that Washington game is one of those that definitely flew under the radar because you got the backup. It's no Jane Daniels, Marcus Mariota in. So it didn't get a ton of like the highlights and packages, but that highlight is worth the watch alone. Especially because so many times when people get hit on the sideline, it's always like some older trainer or like the linesman, and you're just like, ooh, and you're almost man. It's hard to watch. But when like he's a beast of a human being, and it's just like he like took it and was like, oh, actually okay, and you're not like fearing for his life and family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was that was quite the moment for the week, and we had a lot of kind of awesome games here, especially with the 5 backups starting this week already. I mean, we talked about last year, 2023, really like the year of the backup quarterback. This year, we've already got 5 starting this week. We had a lot of dramatic finishes, especially in that early window, which was exciting, and then obviously some really interesting games that we saw some teams go to 3-0. We saw quite a few teams go to 0-3. So already early in the season, some teams are kind of already screwed.
6-3-0, 6-0-3, and
that's wild.
And Dan, there are some teams in real danger of falling to 1-3 next week. Either the Ravens or the Chiefs will fall to 1-3 next week because they play each other. A lot on the line early in the season. And I think one of the big storylines so far this year, kickers and backup quarterbacks. I mean, we're seeing a ton of backup quarterbacks and a ton of kickers already. We got Jackson Dart news. We got Nick Bosa news. We got a lot to get into.
We do. Absolutely. Excited to dive in, and no show open this morning. Or this evening, I should say. So we're just going to go right after it.
Steelers or Patriots?
Yeah. We'll give it a little time to breathe. The Bills beat the Miami Dolphins 31-21 on Thursday Night Football. Josh Allen throws 3 touchdown passes in this one, and the Bills' dominance over the Miami Dolphins continues with this win. Buffalo 3-0, Miami 0-3. A good microcosm here to dive into the week that was, as we saw the one team, Buffalo, who atop the league right now, and another team that continued to flounder, now facing 0-3 and a very, very grim outlook for the remainder of the season for the Miami Dolphins in this one.
You're right. This was a great microcosm for the week 3 in total. I think my notes, I didn't take notes of watching the game, but I rewatched the highlights and I took a couple notes. I was like, oh, that reminded me of this. And I remember feeling in the moment watching it on Thursday night, 2 big things. This is the haves and the have-nots. Josh Allen makes everything look so easy. He is, I think right now, at this moment, the best player in football. Like he truly is. I mean, we saw Lamar last night. He had some struggles. We saw Patrick on Sunday night. he had some struggles. I mean, we've seen great players, Myles Garrett play. We saw your guy TJ Watt have a nice weekend. There's a lot of great players in football who make it look easy. No one is doing it, I think, at the level that Josh Allen is doing it. And when you have to watch him and Tua, it is the perfect encapsulation of what a franchise quarterback looks like versus what a guy who can play quarterback at a professional level looks like. You know what I mean? Like like Tua is one of the 20 greatest people on the planet at what he does. And yet the gap between Tua and your average and Josh Allen and Tua and your kind of like middle line starting D1 quarterback, it feels like it's a greater gap between Josh Allen and Tua than it is a lot of, and I maybe that's being too harsh on Tua, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of quarterbacks, if they were in Tua's spot, who would look like that next to Josh Allen. I'll add, I thought his back-breaking interception late is just unexcusable. It's a classic Tua interception.
That was bad. It was very bad.
It's just like, and he was driving, and there's things you like, and he's spreading the ball around. But Josh Allen right now and this Bills team, they have a look at their schedule coming up. Really workable, a lot of positive vibes in Buffalo. This could be the last unbeaten team in the NFL if you're going to make me put money on it at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot currently unbeaten teams in the league, but there are a few, and Buffalo for sure is firing on all cylinders because there hasn't been a game yet this season. Small sample size, of course, always got a caveat with that, but there hasn't been a game this season where we felt, oof, I don't know about this team. Now, granted, the defense has had some, somewhat rocky moments, but they've also had some decent moments too early in the season. So overall, it does boil down to Josh Allen. It boils down to the offense being a little bit more multifaceted than maybe they have in the past. Like their run game has been working to some extent. And Josh Allen has still been able to play Superman, as we've seen many, many times in the past. And that's obviously going to be a recipe for success if they're able to establish the run and also have Josh Allen be a guy that can, put the team on his back. They ran for 157 yards in this game. James Cook, for the vast majority of that, 108 on the ground for him. Josh Allen had 25 yards on the ground. I mean, I think that's going to be the recipe for success moving forward. And we've talked about this for a couple of years. Josh Allen won the MVP last year, and he ran a lot. And he ran a lot in 2023. And it was really impressive. And obviously he can do it. He's one of those guys that you would say bucks the trend, kind of like a Derrick Henry. Like running backs aren't supposed to be this fast and this efficient at that age. But at what point are we going to start to have to say, like, Josh Allen can't be running the football this much anymore, right?
He's here for a good time. He's not here for a long time. You know what I mean? Like it's that lyric. I totally get what you're saying. I think it's a really tough thing to do. I get so tired of this. So like, well, we got so spoiled with like Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady playing for 20 years. Like, if you tell me I get 4 more years of Josh Allen, but he's going to just be at this level for 4 more years, I would take that over Josh Allen at 70% of Josh Allen for 8 more years.
No, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, we were spoiled, you're right. But we also, every generation of quarterbacks, people, whoever they grow up with, learns the lesson after a certain point of like, wow, you got to really like cherish the primes of the greats that you're watching, because it can, while we did see the longevity of Peyton and Tom and Drew, we also saw guys like a Matt Ryan fall off the cliff pretty fast, right? Like, and so there are those that you gotta, Philip Rivers, there, Eli, these are all-time great players that we watched, and some of them, when it was over, it was pretty abrupt and clear that it was over. So, yeah, that could be, and you don't want it to happen, but that could be in 2 years. Like, we don't know that. We don't know if Josh Allen all of a sudden, like, gets one bad injury. We've seen Joe Burrow now get hurt yet again.
Luckily for Bills fans, Josh has been pretty solid. Like, he has not taken hits. Even Cam Newton at this point in his career was slowing down from the hits. We haven't seen that yet from Josh. But I listen, I think Josh right now is the 1-1. If there was every player available and I'm starting my franchise, I know Mahomes, the way he's throwing, the way he's moving, the way he's playing football right now, I think he's the best player in football right now. And I hope, even if you hate the Bills, if you're a diehard Dolphins fan, you're a diehard Jets fan, like, appreciate that greatness. You know what I mean? I felt that way for years with Aaron Rodgers. I could watch him and be like, God, I freaking hate you so much. But I can also understand your rank in the pantheon of all-time greats. We're seeing that right now with Josh and Lamar and Mahomes. I mean, we're blessed with this. It sucks that Burrow's injured. There are some really special dudes right now, and Josh treated us on Thursday night, that's for sure.
He really did. And, I hate to say it, but it does really seem like the clock has gotten close to striking midnight, not just on Mike McDaniel, but on the Tua experiment for some.
They're paying him a lot of money for 3 more years.
Absolutely, yes. So they're invested, and definitely to a lesser extent. But I do feel that if Mike McDaniel does get fired, which seems like an inevitability, the next coach that comes in is likely not coming in, tied to Tua. And at that point, does that rope get shorter?
I don't know. I don't know all of the stuff into his contract, but I would imagine at the end of next year, it's probably an easier pill to swallow to move on from. I would imagine. So sure. I think there's something to that. Listen, I get there's only 32 of those jobs, but it's not a job that I think is going to be people are going to be falling over themselves to go get. I would ride out with Mike McDaniel through the year because, again, I think I'm not putting all the onus on Mike McDaniel. He can only do so much. Tua threw it straight to a linebacker that was right in front of his freaking face. And I just don't know how Mike McDaniel is supposed to wear all of that. I mean,
but at the end of the day, like, yes, that was a horrific play. It was really bad. But at the end of the day, like, Miami had this game in their sights, right? And this was their Super Bowl, for all, lack of a better term. Like, they're 0-2, they're playing their division rival in their house. It's a get right moment for the team, and they still like couldn't get over the hump. They kept Allen in check for the most part in terms of like rushing lanes, and they were playing well defensively. But yeah, it's just you're brought in to be the offensive guy, and however you want to slice it. Like, sometimes when you tie your hip to somebody, you are responsible ultimately for the outcome, and it's not like this is year 2, for these guys. So I think that they've got to answer for that, both of them, to be honest. But we'll move on to the Sunday slate. The Packers at the Browns. What a treat to start the day of football there on Sunday. You get to see your Packers, I say that tongue in cheek, of course, fall to 2-1, and the Cleveland Browns win a dogfight 13-10. Packers offense looked all out of sorts in this game. Nobody seemed to want to win, but the Browns end up getting it done late. And I gotta say, Cleveland's defense keeping them in it late and then having that interception to set up the tie, which they end up doing, and then the field goal block to keep it tied, and then the field goal to win it with no time left. That was a dramatic finish if I've ever seen one, and a pretty cool kind of upset early in the season.
This game was a 10-0 game. Packers took the lead with under 3 minutes in the third. And you think, all right, here comes Matt LaFleur. Here comes Jordan Love. Here comes this dominant Packers team we've seen through 2 weeks. Now, okay, this was it was ugly for the first 3 quarters, but now they're going to separate. And then Jordan Love takes that really ugly sack to end the third quarter, and it killed that drive. The Packers hold the Browns to 3, and you think to yourself, okay, it's now 10-3 with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. You're the Green Bay Packers, and you get the ball back. You run out the clock. That's what you do. You win this game. You go down and kick a field goal, and it's over. And Jordan Love threw one of the most egregious and probably the worst interception as far as outcomes and egregiousness. Again, it wasn't a tip ball. It wasn't someone made a terrific play, a sack, strip, fumble. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy crap. There was nothing he could do. It was an egregiously awful interception with a 10-3 lead with under 3 minutes left. And all of a sudden, it's 10-10. Like, they return it, they get it down. Judkins goes in for the touchdown. He had a nice game, 18 carries, 94 yards for Judkins. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's 10-10. And even at that point, you are Jordan Love and you're the Green Bay Packers. You get the ball and you can go down and put yourself in that position. And credit to the Browns to block the kick and put themselves in a position to win. My takeaway from this game is 2 things. Jordan Love was sacked 5 times. Now, is that poor planning? Is that we underestimated our opponent? Is that just Cleveland's defense finally starting to come alive? I think it's a combination of all 3. I think you look back at this game, and Packers fans will have to admit we overlooked our opponent. We came in sloppy right there on Lake Erie on a Sunday at noon and thought, we'll get in, we'll get out, easy win, move on, we're 3-0. And the Cleveland Browns put their nutsack on the table, and they played a fantastic game defensively. They got after Jordan Love, 5 sacks. They really disrupted him, only 183 yards passing for Love. And you combine it when you look at the Packers had 14 penalties. That plays into the fact of, like, you're not mentally prepared for this game. You're not physically prepared for this game. Cleveland beat them up physically and mentally in this game. And what's crazy is the Packers had multiple chances to win this game. Josh Jacobs had 16 carries for 30 yards. That speaks to the Packers not being prepared physically, but also speaks to how prepared Cleveland was physically. And Dan, Josh Jacobs had 9 targets for 5 receptions, 55 yards. That's double what Matthew Golden, what these receiving core that we talk so much about the Packers trying to improve, trying to find a number 1, and yet your number 1 target is your running back out of the backfield. It just goes to show you the mindset the Packers were in offensively, and maybe credit to Cleveland's defense forced the Packers to be in.
Yeah. I'm not sure the Packers trust their offensive line a whole lot.
I don't know if they do either. 5 sacks. This, to me, 2 things to take away from this game. The Packers, a little steam comes out of the sail. I think they're still a very above average football team. They're you have to take them seriously football team. But now they're beatable, right? We can see that they're beatable, and there's going to go through some growing pains still in this season. And for the Cleveland Browns, there is a real feistiness and a bite to this defense, and they're capable of stealing games, especially at home. Cleveland is not to be taken lightly. They showed that, they proved that they earned this win, and the Packers were let down by their penalties, by sloppy play, and they were ultimately let down by their quarterback. They were in position to win that game up 10-3 with 3 minutes to go in the fourth, and Jordan Love threw the worst interception of the weekend.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that's true. It probably was the worst interception of the weekend. Definitely of his career. I would agree with you on that front.
Wait. Of his career, he threw a game-losing interception in an NFC divisional round on the road against the Niners, where they should have won that game. They were driving to win that game, and he threw a back-breaking interception in a playoff game late in the fourth.
Yes, that in terms of results and the moment.
But this was the
right.
ugliest interception of like
throw.
Yes,
probably is worst. But yeah, I suppose that's debatable.
And I think what Packers fans need to own, and they need to own this, is that this is not the Aaron Rodgers era of Packer football. This is more like the Brett Favre era of Packers football, which still means Super Bowl titles are on the table. Absolutely. Yeah. They should feel that way. But Jordan Love plays off script sometimes in the way that you saw Josh Allen early in his career. We're like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah, or like Will Levis. So
we don't see Josh Allen making those mistakes anymore. And I think another year or so of Jordan Love, if he's still making these horrible decisions late next year or the year after, that's when you have to have a real discussion, because that contract will start becoming up and you say, what is the future of Jordan Love as a Packers quarterback? Listen, Aaron and Brett were protected because this season, age 27 season, year 3 as a starter, they won a Super Bowl. They were protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
What will the Packers do if Jordan's not protected with a ring on his finger? That's going to be a really fascinating thing in a couple of years from now with the way Jordan Love plays football.
The Cleveland Browns got their first win of the season. The Tennessee Titans still searching for their first. They fall to 0-3. And how about the Indianapolis Colts? 3-0. I don't think any of us saw this coming.
No, I did not. I did not.
The season. And honestly, what was most impressive was that Daniel Jones wasn't having his, like crazy, ridiculous game. He more or less played how we kind of envisioned would be okay for the Indianapolis Colts this year, and they still won in ridiculous convincing fashion, 41-20. Jonathan Taylor was the story of this one. 3 touchdowns for him, 100 yards on the ground, and he had a couple catches in there
that
too.
That TD run in the third quarter from Jonathan Taylor,
unbelievable.
I mean, that's when he's healthy, he's in the discussion with CMC, with Saquon, with Henry, with Jacobs, as like, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Yep, he's just different. But they're 3-0. I mean, no major takeaways for me from this game as it played out. It was more about the results of them being 3-0, the Titans 0-3. But I will say, Daniel Jones taking a little bit step back from this, heater he was on the first 2 weeks, and still the team winning like this. I think that bodes extremely well for the Colts that, hey, we're not going to be this 6-win team that people thought, because even if Daniel isn't, lighting it up, we're still going to win games, and we can still put up 41 points, and he only is responsible for one of those touchdowns.
I truly feel at this point in time, the Colts are the team to beat in the AFC South. Through 3 games, I think it's pretty apparent they look like the most well-rounded, best team in the AFC South. Now, does that mean the Colts are going to win 2 playoff games? I don't know. I don't know what their ceiling is against the Buffaloes, the Kansas Cities, the elite of the AFC, the Chargers. It looks like, I don't know. But I know right now, you look at their schedule and you look at their competition in the AFC South, they should go 6-0 in the AFC South right now. I mean, it just looks like it could be that easy for them. Dan,
they were yet to punt coming into the game, and they didn't punt until the second quarter.
Yeah, and their defense played well too. 4 sacks, Tyquan Lewis, 2 sacks in the game. I will also make mention really quickly for Tennessee. It was announced today that Brian Callahan, he is a year and 3 games into his career as the head coach, and he's relinquishing play calling duties when he was the play caller for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, and that's why he got the job.
Right. Yep.
That's not
really
great.
Saying the process isn't working.
That's not great. That's not great for him. I have 2 major takeaways. Cam Ward's the guy. I'm not saying he's going to be Super Bowl caliber winning, but Cam Ward is a guy, if I was a Titans fan still watching, I'd be really pumped about, of like, we need to build around him. We need to give him support, because this kid has the
He's got factor. Talent for sure.
He's got the arm. He's got the demeanor. Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley combined for him for 5 catches for 64 yards. That's not what you're expecting when you bring those guys in. Okonkwo had a really nice grab. They responded well after that first ugly interception to go down 7-3. So I saw that response from Ward. You throw that ugly pick six, you get right back up, and you lead your team on it with a great Dodo Conquo. You lead your team on a field goal drive at 7-3. Now I know things got out of hand, but like there's those moments you're like, okay, for a young quarterback, a number one overall
hang
pick,
your hat on it.
Yeah, you see some good stuff. I will officially say it. I was wrong 2 years ago when I predicted Baker and the Bucs to stink. Baker proved me wrong. He earned a contract. I was wrong last year when I picked Sam Darnold and the Vikings to stink. Sam proved me wrong and he earned a contract. I predicted the Colts to be the worst team in the NFL and for Daniel Jones to stink. I was wrong. He deserves a contract. If the Colts can get a Daniel Jones to the Baker, Sam Darnold 3-year, $100 million guaranteed deal, they have a lot of talent on this team. And it's clear to me Shane Steichen, he's Kevin Stefanski 2.0. There's a lot wrong maybe with the organization. There's a lot wrong maybe with the GM, maybe some cultural things, but that guy is your guy. Do not let him out of the building. If he gets capable quarterback play, he's a talented head coach. Lot to like out of Indianapolis right now.
I mentioned about the punt. That also was their only punt of the game. So per Adam Schefter, the Colts have punted once over their first 3 games. That is the fewest by any team over its first 3 games of an NFL season since at least 1940. So
ever.
I mean, that's
in modern
football that we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts in that conversation. It just goes to show that they are finding ways to sustain drives and get into scoring position.
I haven't looked at it, but really quickly, I don't know what the Colts schedule looks like. I am very curious
about their upcoming.
Yeah, do you have it? I'm trying to pull it up here now.
They travel next week to the Rams. Tough game. Okay,
that's
and they're home against the Raiders and Cardinals.
So we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn. They might lose to the Rams, but then beat the Colts, beat the Raiders and the Cardinals. But we're gonna learn what the ceiling is for Indianapolis next week.
Yeah,
the Rams are coming off a brutal loss. We'll talk about that in a second. They're a very talented team with Super Bowl aspirations. If the Colts put up this kind of performance against that well-coached Sean McVay Rams team, we might have to start talking about the Colts as a legitimate AFC championship type of team.
Yeah, I mean, that would be wild, but also in play. They're undefeated right now. The Vikings destroy the Cincinnati Bengals 48-10, and as someone who had the Minnesota defense on one of my fantasy teams, I will tell you this defense played outstanding.
They did.
How about Isaiah Rodgers with 2 interception return for a touchdown and a forced fumble in just the first half of this game? Talk about a career day for Isaiah Rodgers, but the defense as a whole dominated in this one. Carson Wentz, one of those backups we mentioned at the beginning of the show, comes in, hadn't played and started football since 2022, right? And
he started
2023, right?
He did start a game, I think, for the Chiefs last year when there was a game. I think there's some weird record where he's the first quarterback in NFL history 6 straight seasons to start a game with 6 different teams. Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Colts. I can't remember the journey he was on. Eagles, Washington, Colts, something like that. Eagles, Colts, Washington. Wherever he was. He was fine. Listen, they didn't need him to do much. 14 of 20, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jordan Mason was fantastic. He did the right thing. He got the ball to Jefferson and Hockenson and let those 2 just go off. Chase Brown was a top pick in fantasy. 10 rushes, 3 yards.
Yeah.
Now, the Vikings did have 13 penalties. They got to clean some stuff up. It wasn't a perfect game. The Bengals had 5 fumbles, lost 3 of them. At one point in time, this game was 48-3. I don't know. Again, I think I think Jake Browning is – they're going to give him a little bit of a leash here because he has played well in spots for them before when Burrow's out.
5 picks now.
But it's getting it got a little ugly. And I will say this, Dan, for the Vikings, What a weird start. They're 2-1. They barely hang on to beat the Bears as the Bears give a game away. They get shellacked by a Atlanta team that now we have no idea, because we're about to talk about them. They got shellacked. And then they come out and they beat up on a Bengals team at home that just didn't have fight, and it felt over. I mean, it was 14-0 in the blink of an eye. And it just felt like I don't know what to take from it. Listen to Minnesota's next couple games. They are overseas against your Steelers and then the Browns. So we're going to learn a lot about Minnesota over the next 2 weeks. I hear that J.J. McCarthy will not play in either of those games, but he will travel with the team as an emergency QB and rehab throughout that. They're 2-1. They can afford to go 0-2 and end up 2-3 and get JJ back and not get him beat up overseas against a really good Steelers and a really good Browns defense. But after that, Dan, it's a bye week. So you say, okay, we give him 3 weeks off, the European games and a bye. He comes back. If they're 2-3, Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens.
Yeah, it's a brutal stretch.
This Vikings
not
team
a fun thing
could be 2-7 before we know it. So it is an insane stretch. They've got to find a way to at least split 1-1 against your Steelers and the Browns, and then hope that JJ is healthy and that he's plays fourth quarter against the Bears football against the best teams in the league in a 4-game stretch.
Yeah, that is a tough slog for sure to stare down. Coming off of, they'll be entering that just a week removed from an overseas game too, and those can mess with you for sure. The Steelers beat the Patriots barely 21-14, despite recording 5 takeaways in this game. Not often are you going to win the turnover battle 5-1 and only beat your opponent by 7 points, but leave it up to Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers to be one of those teams. I thought the offense looked great the first couple series. Really good. It was kind of like, what you were talking about with Caleb and the Bears early this season. The scripted plays look really good, and then everything seems to fall apart after that. It's kind of how it felt with the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially running the football. Jaylen Warren has once again been the bright spot for this team, continually producing splash and being a guy that keeps you in this thing. But for them not to be able to capitalize on the turnovers was really worrisome. On the flip side, I got to give, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how the Patriots gave it away. And yes, absolutely, the Patriots blew all of their opportunities by creating terrible turnovers in brutal moments. But I got to give the Pittsburgh Steelers defense credit for forcing 5 turnovers, and 3 of them in very, very key, crucial situations, including at the end of the first half, where the Patriots are knocking on the door and they're going to be taking a lead going into the break. Instead, you're able to pick the ball off in the end zone and really end that momentum. So I thought that was really key. But yeah, overall, it wasn't too much, or I'm sorry, yeah, they would have tied it at the end of the half, and Steelers with the interception were able to take a 7-point lead into the break. But they won. It's a victory. I'm not going to read too much into it, but this offense is, they're going to have to start showing some signs of life, because the Vikings is an easy trap game, even if Carson Wentz is starting next week. And the schedule just doesn't get a whole lot easier for Pittsburgh. They are staring down division play. Now it's the Browns and Bengals, granted, but it's division play in the AFC North. I'm never going to take those as instant wins. And then it's, Green Bay, the Red Hot Colts, the Chargers. And then before you know it, we're into that crazy stretch with the Bills, Ravens, Lions, all of that stuff. So Pittsburgh really could use a win here in this home game in Ireland before coming back home and taking on a couple division opponents. But I need to see more out of the run game, and I definitely need to see more just from the offense in general, because they're just not getting off the field. But hey, TJ Watt's back. 2 sacks in this game. Finally broke a significant stretch of no sacks there. So that was good to see.
Not all interceptions are created equal. The award for second worst pick of the weekend behind Jordan Love goes to our young man, Drake May. Dan, the Steelers are up 14-0 going into the second quarter. Looks like, hey, mojo, you're really controlling it. Just a rough start for Drake May. He ended up throwing the ball 37 times. The Patriots had 0 sacks on an immobile old Aaron Rodgers. That's not good for a Mike Vrabel defense. We thought that Vrabel would really be able to kind of put his fingerprints on that defense a little bit more. And what really killed me was that the first drive of the second quarter for the Patriots, they cut the lead to 14-7. It's a really nice drive from Drake May, finds Hunter Henry for a touchdown pass. Like, all right, okay, we got a game. Let's go. What happens is that I have it right here. They then force a 3-and-out, 3 plays, 5 yards punt. You think to yourself, okay, here we come. New England's back. They got the mojo. They got the momentum. They go on a 17-play.
Yeah. The length of the field.
92 yards, 7-minute plus drive. And Drake May throws one of the ugliest interceptions in the red zone you'll ever see. It's horrendous. Now, credit to Pittsburgh. They put pressure on. Bend, don't break, right? But that is the exact reason why not all interceptions are created equal. Backbreaking, 17 plays.
Yeah, it was a huge momentum shift.
You need to get a field goal. You need to get something out of that drive. And they get nothing. 5 turnovers overall. Now Rodgers,
Andre Stevenson fumbled twice in this game himself.
Yes, Stevenson was not great. Rodgers did have an ugly pick to start the third. Listen, the game was 14-14 with the Pats driving with 7 minutes in the fourth. That's when TJ Watt shows up. That's why he's a multiple defensive player of the year. That's why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Strip sack fumble there when it's that close. Great Steelers drive for the touchdown pass to Austin late, 24-14. And they lock it up. I'll say this about Aaron Rodgers. He only had to throw the ball 23 times. Really ugly day for his wide receivers.
Passed Brett Favre for 4th all-time in the passing touchdowns list.
He did. I will say, great to see Warren kind of play big. 47 yards and 18 carries, not great, but 5 catches, 34 yards. He was impressive in the pass game.
Yeah. It's just nothing's coming easy for them. They're not getting open lanes. He's creating everything. He's creating everything he gets.
And if I'm a Patriots fan, I'm not panicking about Drake May. I certainly think Drake May right now is ahead of Michael Penix Jr., who we're talking about awful interceptions. I think right now I'd even say, just from pure film, when you look at him versus where Bo Nix is and this kind of weird regression of Bo Nix to start the season, I think I'd take Drake May over Bo Nix right now. But for a guy who's big and tall and has all of the intangibles, there's a little bit too much Trevor Lawrence of who was that? Yeah. But also, I got to be honest. They're asking him to throw 37 times. And for Drake May, your leading receiver, 2 catches, 28 yards. Stephon Diggs had 3 catches for 23 yards. Hunter Henry was nice. 8 catches, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Hunter Henry, your number one option right now in the year 2025 of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, not great. Not great.
Not great. The Los Angeles Rams, they had it, man. First half, double-digit lead on the Philadelphia Eagles. They were looking really good. And then here come the Eagles in the second half. Punching away. And then it eventually goes down to the wire here. Matthew Stafford passed Matt Ryan for 9th all-time in passing touchdowns list in this game. It looked like it was going to be a nice Rams revenge game in the making. And then at the very end, when they had an opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal down 27-26, the Eagles blocked the punt or blocked the field goal, and Jordan Davis with a big man touchdown. The distance, obviously, it wouldn't have mattered at that point, but a crucial back-breaking loss for Los Angeles. They're only 2-1. I mean, they're fine, right? But that's a game where you're going to look back probably at the end of the season whether that's the difference of your division or a difference in seeding, that's going to really come to haunt you because you had this game in the bag. You let it go so many times. And then at the very end, when you can finally get that victory back, you get that block field goal. And that's, the rest is history.
If you're the Rams, you look at this and you obviously you have to know you gave a game away. You only let up 1 sack against that really strong Philadelphia front seven.
And you got 4.
Your defense, yes, 4 sacks, Verse, Young, Poona Ford, all getting involved. Dan, at one point in time in the third quarter, Jared Verse sack fumble. It's 26-7 in the third quarter after a strip sack fumble. The Rams are up. You're up 19 points on the road. You need a field goal. You need 1 drive to get some points. And this puppy is done. His time is on your side. After the fumble, Hurts was brilliant. After the fumble, the Philadelphia went touchdown, downs, touchdown, block field goal, touchdown. The Rams 4th and 1 early in the fourth got stuffed. That was killer, but I like the aggressiveness to go for it on the road. Nakua and AJ Brown, there's this really kind of fun wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 1. Nakua had 11 catches on 15 targets for 112 yards versus AJ Brown, who had 10 targets, 6 catches, 109 yards and a touchdown. And then Devontae Adams, 3 for 56 and a touchdown versus Devontae Smith, 8 for 60 and a touchdown. 2 of the best wide receiver cores in the league going head to head. Really fun to watch. In the fourth quarter, the Eagles, 17 plays, 91 yards, 4th and goal, the touchdown pass to Smith. It was a beautiful drive. Listen, Jalen Hurts reminded everyone that what I need to do for my team to win is whatever I'll do.
Whatever I need to do. Win. Yeah.
And it's a great reminder that a game like this, you're reminded that Jalen Hurts, when he has to play modern NFL quarterback, he's the top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And otherwise, he can just be a winning quarterback and run the ball, hand the ball off. It's a hell of a win for the Eagles. They've won 17 straight games in which Jalen Hurts has started and finished the game. They're the best team in football right now. They're beating good teams. They're beating teams in creative ways. They're battling back. They're blowing teams out. Eagles are flying high. Rams should not hang their head, but they can't let 1 loss turn into 2 losses. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those where, wipe it, get back. You're a really great football team. You probably should. You definitely should have won this game. So think of yourself as a 3-0 team. Go out there and don't let yourself get caught with an ugly loss next week somehow.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Just take this one on the chin and come back stronger next week. Both these teams are probably going to be playoff teams and figure to be contenders for an NFC Championship game as well. So close game. I mean, the fact that the Rams did, have as many struggles as they did and kept it that close down to the wire, I think that still says something as well. Totally. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers eke out a victory over the New York Jets, 29-27 in this game. Baker Mayfield, despite having a clean stat sheet, didn't play particularly well in this game, but you got to give him credit. At the end of the game, the Jets get that block and return touchdown to take the lead. And you're all of a sudden like, oh my goodness, this is going to turn into a potentially season turnaround game for New York. Under 2 minutes to go. And then Baker Mayfield does what Baker Mayfield does and gets them into field goal range. And they kick the field goal as time expires and get the win 29-27. The Jets also with their backup quarterback in this game, Tyrod Taylor, who looked fairly decent, all things considered. But at the end of the day, they also are one of those 0-3 teams. Meanwhile, Tampa finds themselves at 3-0. So, I mean, it wasn't pretty, But Tampa's one of those few teams that's still undefeated right now, and I think overall they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, Tampa did a great job of getting themselves through an ugly game, through a kind of a trap game with a backup quarterback. Their kicker, McLaughlin, 5 for 6 on field goals, 2 for 2 in extra points. He had a really big day overall.
Yeah.
Listen,
they just couldn't run the football at all.
You lost Mike Evans with the hamstring injury. That kind of threw the offense out of rhythm a little bit. Agbuka is young and very talented, but he had to step into that number one role. Baker on that game-winning field goal drive, the throws to Agbuka, I mean, these two could be very, very special for the next couple of years. I will say this, a lot of the production from the Jets offense, they scored 21 points in the fourth after being down 23-6 to start the fourth. So it felt to me like a little bit of the Bucs taking their foot off the gas defensively, and the game is kind of in reach and the Jets kind of having to just go for it. It was a lot of stat padding from Garrett Wilson. He ended up with 10 catches, 84 yards, a touchdown. Again, a lot of that coming in the fourth, not during the meaningful play early in the game when you're battling. So I wouldn't panic if I'm the Bucs. Also, Levante David, Diaby, Winfield Jr., the Bucs defense really played well for large portions of this game to give them that 23-6 lead. Yes, they let up the lead. I think a lot of that's kind of that human nature. And then you have a dog in Baker Mayfield to go out there and earn you a victory. The big run that led to the block field goal, but then those great throws to Agbuka down the sidelines. He was only sacked once in the game, 4 rushes for 44 yards. I think the Bucs are really for real. And I think it's because of veteran experience mixed with a quarterback that just has an it factor, mixed with a bevy of talent. I know their offensive line is beat up right now, but Tristan Wirfs will come back. They've lost other guys throughout the start of the season as well. That's obviously a concern, but they only gave up 1 sack, even with the beat up offensive line of that really good Jets front seven. Problem with the Jets right now, Tyrod Taylor was also their leading rusher, 8 carries for 48 yards. Now, that's a little different if it's Justin Fields, but you've got 2 talented backs in Allen and Hall, and for them to be 15 carries, 51 yards, you've got to figure that part of your game out if you're the head coach for the New York Jets. You're 0-3. Things are falling apart for the Bucs, 3-0, and again, their division looks maybe like a cakewalk. The South and the AFC and the NFC right now feels like it's the Colts and the Bucs, and that's about it.
They might be the easiest ticket to punch for a playoff berth, and division win for sure. The Washington Commanders win 41-24 over the Vegas Raiders behind backup quarterback Marcus Mariota, and really, it was behind a dominant rushing attack, over 200 yards on the ground for them. They held the Raiders to under 100. Now, we saw some flashes of Ashton Genty kind of for the first time this year, giving him a little bit of an increased workload, so that was maybe a positive sign from the Raiders, Mark. And Trey Tucker is quickly becoming the top go-to receiver for Geno Smith in this offense, and he's been really impressive. He had all 3 touchdown passes from Geno in this game. But yeah, it was the run game. It was the ability to control the clock for Washington. They scored in every quarter, including 27 points between the second and third quarter. So once they started to get going into this game, they didn't let up, and it was a pretty easy victory all around for the Commanders, who could be getting Jaden Daniels back as early as this week.
I would sit him for another week. I mean, if you're Washington, you're at Atlanta next week. That looks like a very winnable game,
right? Yeah.
Marcus Mariota was fantastic. 15 of 21, 207 yards, a touchdown. He also ran the ball 6 for 40 and a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, Washington, 32 carries, 201 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They beat the crap out of the Raiders with their physicality, their run game. Listen, Geno played okay. He needed a bounce-back game. 19 of 29, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. And the Raiders' offensive line, I think right now we can officially say it is the worst offensive line in football. The 5 sacks speak to it. But Dan, listen to this stat. This is just mind-blowing. It doesn't make any sense. the percentage of rushing yards to come after contact among all running backs with at least 100 yards rushing so far through 3 games. Okay. So you've had to have it 100 yards rushing. So you're at least playing a lot. This is the percentage of your yards to come after contact. So for example, a guy like Derrick Henry is at 70%. 70% of his yards come after the first contact. Saquon Barkley, 63%. Well, Saquon's got a great offensive line. So, of course, he's not going to get contact until he gets through the offensive line, right?
They're also giant running backs, like super strong, right? These are guys you expect.
Dan,
the first contact is not going to bring them to
Jahmyr Gibbs is at 31%. So he's getting so many of his yards before contact. Ashton Genty, this is a real stat. 101%. 101%.
Because of the negative runs.
101% of his yards have come after contact.
That's insane. That's crazy.
When you add into the fact that Geno has been sacked 5 times, Chip Kelly and this Raiders offense need to stop what they're doing at practice, and they need to get a hold of how do we make this even 10% better? How do we get this number down to 90%? And how do we get the sacks down from 5 to 3 a game? Because if they can do that, the Raiders can be back to fun and competitive, and you give your kid a chance. Also, who's Trey Tucker? 8 catches, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. A 2023 third rounder from Cincy.
Yeah, man, he's the speedster. So he was like that classic Raiders pick that you think isn't gonna pan out, but maybe
easy win for Washington. This was a culture win for Washington. Marcus Mariota, you forget about him, probably the best backup in the best situation. He's a perfect fill-in for Jane Daniels. Big, tall, lean, can run, accurate. Like, he's got the best spot in the NFL being his backup. I would start him again next week. Let Jane get 100% healthy. You do not want to risk anything with Jane Daniels. You're 2-1. You're playing Atlanta on the road. Take it easy.
Carolina won 30-0 over the Atlanta Falcons. Do you think that felt good for Carolina? 30-0 over that rival. And sure, it's the Falcons, and Bryce Young didn't throw a touchdown, but that just had to feel like a sigh of relief for the Panthers that have really had a rough start to the year. Meanwhile, to your point, Michael Penix had a terrible pick. He had 2 picks total, 50% completion percentage in this game. They ended up throwing Kirk Cousins in for his first game action of the year at the end. That's how much they had to mail this thing in. And despite all that, they actually had a decent rushing performance overall in this game, but they abandoned it early. And what a weird game. Weird game to diagnose.
Well, listen, if you're trying to figure out how the Panthers won 30-0, and yet they have a quarterback who did not throw a touchdown pass, you're like, where did the scoring come from? Dan, Bryce Young was not good. 16 of 24 for 121 yards. But what Bryce Young did at home was he did not make the mistakes to kill his team. I think overall the worst from start to finish, worst quarterback performance from a starting quarterback this week was Michael Penix Jr. He was 18 of 36, so 50%, 172 yards, and both interceptions were not tip balls, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're talking about back-breaking, horrific vision. And what you don't get with Michael Penix Jr., arm, size, athletic ability, you're supposed to make up for with like intelligence, accuracy, and like he was a 5-year starter. He's seen it all, so he's not going to make the dumb plays. He made the bad plays. The first interception, deep in their own territory, that was returned for a touchdown. You have then the second interception is a horrible late in the third quarter on a 4th down play that you have to have because you're down late in the game. Parker Romo, the Atlanta kicker, who they shunned Kyungwei Koo for, was 0 for 2. He was bad.
Yeah, I know. Listen, and those were bad misses too.
Early in the first, the Panthers muffed a punt. early in the first, and Atlanta's like, all right, hey, we threw that interception early. It's okay. Let's get back on track. We got our young quarterback. We got Bijan Robinson. We have Drake London. Let's go. 4 plays, -3 yards, and you miss a field goal. It's just horrible. Horrible. The Falcons had a 1:01 on the clock in the second on their own 21-yard line. They get 17 yards. They end up taking with 0 timeouts. They end up with nothing. I mean, there were drives, there were moments for offensively. You're like, this is horrific, and a lot of it, in my opinion, stems from the quarterback play. Bryce Young avoided the big mistakes. Penix caused the big mistakes. Listen, it's early. Penix has started 10 games, 7, 8, 9 games. I'm not writing him off, but again, what's scary to me, if I am a fan of the Atlanta Falcons, same with the Carolina Panthers, you can make the same argument. When I watch Drake May, at least I see 6'5", 235, rocket arm and mobile, right? You're like, all right, he's a bad interception, but we got to coach that out of him. The kid has only played 17 games. When I watch the Chicago Bears and I see Caleb Williams on the flea flicker throw 4 touchdowns, and you throw his weird, falling back throws, and you see the athleticism, you go, all right, yeah. I hate that he misses some easy throws sometimes, but look what I get in return. What am I getting in return if Michael Penix Jr. is going to have games like this? What am I getting in return from J.J. McCarthy? The same kind of thing when he has games like that. Those are the concerns. Those are Tua. What am I getting in return when, no, you're supposed to be Drew Brees? That's why we're paying you, because you're undersized, but you're historically accurate. So if you're in the situation with those quarterbacks, you do have a right to have a little bit of panic alarm. This game was a telltale sign for both of them. At least if you're a Panthers fan, you can say, my guy didn't make the mistakes. Your guy did. That's why we are 1-2 and you're 1-2.
Jacksonville is 2-1, despite a pretty rough start to the year. You'll take that any day, right? And they beat the Texans 17-10, sending Houston to 0-3. What are you making of the start for both of these teams, but really this collapse, if you can call it that, of the Houston Texans?
I'll let you talk Jags, because I know you're Jags. I will say Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., 8 targets, 3 catches, 76 yards. You know who their offensive coordinator is? Guy named Shane Waldron. Remember him? Yep. Fired from the Bears last year after a couple games because Rome Odunze, who was a high pick, couldn't get going. Look at Rome Odunze now. He's leading the league in touchdown catches.
Yeah, but don't we think Liam Cohen's really the OC there? I mean, I don't know, but
I'm just saying he's in the room as the offensive coordinator.
I mean, and he's probably
calling some of the
plays for sure.
Dan, as a young wide receiver, to finish my point, 2 years ago, where was Shane Waldron with a high draft pick rookie wide receiver who underperformed as a rookie, but in the last 2 years has really performed? Jackson Smith and Jigba. Shane Waldron is a cancer. They need to get him out of there ASAP. I'll say this about the Houston Texans. This is all I want to say. I have the receipts. Oh, I have so many good Twitter receipts. Okay. In Anthony Richardson's 15 career starts, he is 8-7, 21 total touchdowns, 13 interceptions. In CJ Stroud's last 15 starts, he's 6-9 with 15 total touchdowns. That's 6 less than Anthony Richardson, and 12 interceptions. That's 1 less than Anthony Richardson. Dan, since CJ Stroud, after week 2 of last year, little broed Caleb Williams, remember that?
Yep.
Hey, bud, you're going to be a star in this league one day. Don't worry. And Caleb kind of looked at him like, dude, we're the fucking same guy. You're 1 year in, I'm 2 games in. You're like a year older. We're the same age. We're the same guy. Since that moment, and Caleb Williams sucks, right? He's terrible. He's not good. Since that moment, so you're talking about all of last year and 3 games of this year, Caleb Williams has more passing yards. He completes more balls by over a point. He's got over 100 more passing yards. He has got 8 more touchdown passes, 27-19. He's got 10 less interceptions, 15-5. A rating overall of 94 for Caleb Williams and 83 for CJ Stroud. Something is up with CJ Stroud. And remember, they fired their offensive coordinator last year, who led CJ Stroud to the great rookie campaign, and it was supposed to fix all the things. There's a real conversation for what's going on with CJ Stroud right now. Listen, the second INT of the game was tipped. It was not really on him, but he threw 2. The first one wasn't great. That's what I have to say about the Texans. They're 0-3. They should be not considered right now at all in this division. The Jaguars, I think, are feisty for the division. They have some growing pains to go through. I'm not panicking if I'm the Jags, but I would fire the fuck out of Shane Waldron.
Well, their offense needs to get stuff figured out because it hasn't been good. The run game has been the only thing that's been decent there in Jacksonville.
And their uniforms.
And their uniforms, yes. So they need to make those the mainstay uniforms. Like bring those back and make those
them
the
regular. And the Bucks looked sick in the creamsicles, and the Jags looked so sick in the original 90s uniforms.
Yeah, Trevor hasn't looked good to start the year. And look, they're 2-1, so you say, okay, but they're 2-1. They've played Carolina and Houston and Cincinnati. So I don't think we can really read too much into that. They've looked bad in every one of those games for the most part. To your point, Brian Thomas Jr. has not come through. He had that one big play late that helped them kind of seal the victory. Travis Hunter, they haven't gotten him going with any big plays yet. So something's going, they're eventually going to get something unleashed a little bit like this. I don't think it can be this bad all year long, but they're going to have to get it turned around quickly because they got San Fran coming up. They've got Kansas City, Seattle, the Rams. They could easily mark 0-4 during that stretch and find themselves at 2-5 before you can blink. And then you're talking some real issues the rest of the way. So I'm not feeling great about Jacksonville.
Yeah.
The fact that they're 2-1 is good. You'll take that any day, but I'm not reading much into that start, given that the offense has looked poor and they've done it against probably 3 of the worst teams in the league, especially, of course, without Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Shout out to the Jags defense. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead all had sacks. They were all involved.
No, they've got a pretty decent pass rush now.
I will say this. This was a 10-3 game at the start of the fourth. I think that's what's so frustrating if you're a Texans fan. You were never out of it, right? You're on the road against a divisional opponent. It's going to be a tough game. You have your quarterback throw a really great bomb touchdown to Nico Collins, who had a great game, 8 catches, 104 yards, a touchdown on 11 targets. And you think to yourself, all right, it's 10-10. Here comes CJ Stroud. Here's our guy. Let's go. Dan, Nico Collins is the bad fumble late in the fourth. It's a great drive from Lawrence. He used his feet on the drive late in the fourth to put them in that position to kick the field goal, to get the touchdown. Neither are perfect teams, but Jacksonville's finding a way to win, and Houston is not. So you have to feel decent if you're the Jags. And if you're Houston, 2 straight years owning the division, 2 straight years feeling like you have the team of the division, and now you're looking up at everyone not named the Titans, and that's a bad place to be.
It is. It's not exciting for them, and it could be a very, very long season in Houston. 23-20 is the final in Los Angeles as the Chargers rally back to get Chargers. The game-winning field goal thanks to Justin Herbert. Scoring plays on 2 of their final drives in the fourth quarter, and kind of a bumpy road along the way for Los Angeles. Same with Denver. There were quite a few turnovers in this game and some weird stuff that happened. But at the end of the day, it was Justin Herbert leading them on the drive that they needed at the end of the game to get it done.
Good.
But
so good.
I just don't know, the carryover from last year for Bo Nix and this Broncos offense just doesn't seem to be there yet. I don't know what it is, especially because we're seeing kind of certain resurgences in the run game. So you would think that actually this team would be able to put it together more easily, but it's kind of the opposite. J.K. Dobbins has been great on the ground, but Bo Nix has regressed to some extent, and just the team as a whole doesn't really sustain drives over time.
Yeah, listen, the Broncos defense had 5 sacks. I thought they played well. I thought they muddied this game up. Listen, the Broncos were up. They were up considerably late in this game. They were up 20 to 10. I mean, this was a game that you look at it, you say, we need our quarterback to make a play in the fourth quarter, to extend a drive, to kick a field goal, and he just couldn't do it. Bo Nix so far this season is averaging 178 yards a game passing with an interception every game and 1.5 touchdowns a game. It's not good enough. 14 of 25, 153, and with the INT. I'll say this. Denver in 5-6 weeks from now, they're probably going to be a 5-6 win team. So I don't want to shit on them right now because their next games are the Bengals, Eagles, so tough. But after that, it's Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Texans. So you feel like they're going to get it right. They're probably going to win 4 of those 6, and you're going to find a way to be like, all right, let's not panic. They're involved. But I don't have any confidence right now that Denver is going to be a playoff team. I didn't predict them to be a playoff team. Where's their wide receiver number 2? Mims had 4 targets, 1 catch for 4 yards. Yes, Sutton was great. 6 catches, 118 yards, and a touchdown. But Dan, after that really great touchdown pass to Sutton, to start the third, you're up 14 to 10. You get a fumble on the field goal. You get a fumble recovery. You go up 17 to 10. You go up 20 to 13 in the fourth, and you can't seal the deal. And now, do I blame the defense? No, the defense played well. And the fourth quarter, you've given up 13 points on the road. Your quarterback and your offense couldn't sustain the drives. It really killed them there. And that touchdown pass to Allen late in the fourth from Herbert, I don't love that he had to throw the ball 47 times, but we're starting to feel like maybe this is it for Herbert. He's ascending. Joe Burrow's injured. He's out of our world.
Stride, for sure.
He's ascending into that legitimately needs to be in the top 4 conversation. It's special what we're seeing from Herbert early in the year.
Yeah, that offense is something else. Didn't expect them to lean into the pass as much as they have with Jim Harbaugh, but it's really paying dividends early in the season. Seattle wins 44-13 over the Saints.
Over in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, should we just
Rattler
game,
is now 0-9, and it's a concern. Listen, I thought the Saints, after the first 2 weeks, felt like they were feisty. They played for the coach. They were dead. I mean, they were so dead.
Yeah.
Part of that was
in this one.
Part of that was Seattle came out like a machine. They were ready. They pounced on it so many times. The circle, the win on the calendar game, your team gets nervous. We saw it with the Packers and the Browns, right? That's a circle of the calendar. You win that game. The Seahawks fucking took care of business. Sam Darnold looks good. Jackson Smith and Jigba looks good. Kenneth Walker looks good. Defense looks good. I think Seattle is a borderline top 10 team in the league right now with an arrow pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, no, they've been playing really well, and they've, largely been playing mistake-free football, and that's going to win you a lot of games, and we know they can run the football, and Sam Darnold can make big plays. We've seen it before. Let's get to your Bears, man. Bears at home against the Cowboys. Really, really
America's
nice
game of the week.
Here from Chicago. Caleb with 4 touchdowns, of course. Bears pick off Dak 2 times. The Bears, jumped out to a 14-3 lead after the first quarter, and you felt like already the way they were playing, everything was going smoothly. Everything was going right for the Bears. It's obviously clear that Rome Odunze is the number one, target in this offense. And Luther Burden, was nice to see him have a big game, his first one as a, in the NFL. And hey, Colston Loveland got a big catch in this one too. How about that? So,
and then injured his hip, but he should be okay.
Yeah. Thankfully, it seems like that's going to be a short-term deal. But Yeah, man, I will toss this to you. Just had to be encouraging to see this team perform the way they did.
Needed a win, needed it. Montez Sweat got a sack. Holy smokes. Welcome to the season, Montez Sweat.
You are allowed to do that.
Yeah. You are allowed to do that, which is really cool. Listen, Caleb, this is what we thought we were getting from Caleb Williams. And again, I just mentioned with the stats with the CJ Stroud thing. The national media of like the Caleb Williams has sucked is just, again, don't believe it. Like it was a fine rookie year. Was it the rookie you want from the number one overall pick for the consensus number one overall pick over the last 2 years? A generational guy? No. But it was a fine rookie year. And he started off this season now tied for the league in touchdown passes. He's in the top 5 for passing yards. Completing over 63%, 64% of his balls. Running the ball effectively. Caleb Williams has not been the problem since the fourth quarter of that loss against the Vikings. And in that fourth quarter, he wasn't efficient enough. But if this is what we get from Caleb Williams, the bomb throw, the arm talent, the mobility, then I'm okay with him missing DJ Moore in a quick out every once in a while because the dude has a rifle. It's a special arm. It's a special arm.
Yep.
I want to walk you through a couple things. CeeDee Lamb was injured early. That obviously is a huge help for the Bears, especially with their secondary being bad, injured right now. Looks like Jalen Johnson getting surgery, could return by the end of the year. Probably the right thing to do. You're investing in him. It's been a really tough 17 games since you signed him to the contract. He has not been healthy. You hope that can finally turn around. He gets healthy, gets rest, and he's there available for you with a late playoff push run at the end of this year. This was also the progression of this football team. 12 penalties week 1, 8 penalties week 2, 6 penalties week 3. Buttoning up. Things are starting to fall into place. Dan, I don't know about you, but this is the first time I'm like, I'm watching the Detroit Lions from last year. Guys are wide open. DJ Moore, touchdown, wide open. Cole Kmet, touchdown, really wide open. Rome Odunze, touchdown, wide open. The big throw to Loveland, wide open. And here's the thing. With Mitch and with Justin, they missed wide open guys. And there was a lot of, okay, no. Remember there's always that meme going around of Justin Fields and there's like 3 guys wide open? Or was it Mitch Trubisky and there's like 3 guys? Caleb is not doing that to start this year. He's efficient. He's getting the ball out. And Dan, 7 touchdown passes so far in the year with only 1 interception. He's not turning the ball over. Third quarter of this game. What a special third quarter. The Bears are up, obviously, but not big. It's everyone's game. It's 17-14. This is a live football game. The Cowboys get the ball in the third quarter. They go 7 plays, 18 yards. The Bears force a punt. The Bears defense was the epitome of bend, don't break this game. The Bears go on a 19-play, 76-yard touchdown drive that took 9 minutes, 54 seconds. Unlike the Patriots and Drake May, where he threw the back-breaking interception. Caleb threw the easy touchdown pass at the end of that drive. Same drive, same length, same importance. Caleb, easy touchdown. Take it, pitch, catch, touchdown pass. Drake made back-breaking interception. The flea flicker was obviously awesome, right? But he did that on a 3-play touchdown drive, and they also did a 19-play touchdown drive. So seeing the diversity of offense is something I haven't seen as a Bears fan maybe ever in my lifetime. That's really exciting. Yes, Caleb missed some layups. It was 14-14 there in the second, going into then obviously the giant touchdown pass. Rome dropped a touchdown pass. They get the field goal. That's how they go into halftime, 17-14. Then you go on the giant drive, the laser to Luther Burden. Cole Kmet wide open touchdown, 24-14. Spreading the ball around. During that 19-play drive in the third quarter, Dan, DJ Moore had not caught a ball. And in that drive, DJ Moore, who is your number one, like the presumed number one, you trade for him, right? The big trade.
Mm-hmm.
He catches 3 big balls. They run the ball to him. He gets the touchdown pass on that drive. So the diversity of who's involved, Caleb spreading it around, it was beautiful. It's amazing. And I'll say this, the Bears now have the Raiders at the Raiders next week and then a bye. They cannot lose that game. It is a must-win game against the Raiders. This is all for naught if you lose that game against the Raiders. It truly is. You go into the bye 2-2. You beat up on a Raiders team that is kind of floundering. Your offense continues to explode and grow in the right direction. You have a bye and then at Washington and then versus New Orleans. You'll have maybe Jaden Daniels coming off of taking some time off with a knee injury. This could be a special little stretch for the Chicago Bears. It starts with a must-win game at the Raiders next week.
Yeah, it's super important. You got to stack, right? This will be an afterthought, if they turn around and just regress back to another, brutal loss. But a really good opportunity here for Chicago to start to build that momentum. The San Francisco 49ers improved to 3-0 on a Eddie Pinheiro, of all people, a field goal to end the game
Bears,
against the Cardinals. Yeah, nobody wanted to win this game either. And Arizona with losing James Conner for the season, that looked really bad. Actually, I don't know. Have they actually ruled him out this season? I'm pretty sure it was really it looked awful.
Najee Harris is out this season. Nick Bosa is out this season. I don't know if Connor. I didn't see the Connor news. So, but it was bad. It was not good.
I mean, all around, just not a really enticing game overall. This is where, this is a game. I'm sorry. I mean,
Mac Jones threw the ball 41 times.
He threw the ball 41 times, and Kyler Murray.
You got to win this game.
Talked about it, dude. Like, you just have to win this game. This is a game you have to win. He went 22-35, 159, and a touchdown. That's just not good enough. It's just
he averaged 4.5 yards an attempt. I mean, it's
and I will say, like, Marvin Harrison had a
horrible
really,
drop.
Really bad drop.
Horrible
bad drop. They had some other drops in this game, so it wasn't all that. But you gotta. He's just not putting the team on his back. We've seen this time and time again. That's.
No Kittle, no Purdy. They lost Bosa. You got to win this game. You got to win this game.
Exactly. Yep. Those are the chances you got to take advantage of.
Listen, CMC looks like CMC. 17 carries, 52 yards, but 10 catches for 88 yards on 15 targets. They were just feeding him. Pearsall looked really good. 8 catches, 117 yards. Listen, the Cardinals D on the road, you give up 16 points. You got to win that game on the road. I don't blame the Cardinals defense. Offensively, you've got to score. Listen, Kyler Murray's face mask is not the face mask of a guy who's going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a face mask.
Yeah, it's you're not wrong.
It's a 6-3 game at half. Like, you got to find a way to win that game. You have to do it.
Yeah.
The final thing I'll say on Kyler, like, okay, so we have Kyler. We have Mac Jones. We have Tua. We have Michael Penix Jr. We have Bryce Young. We have all of these guys, right? Kyler is the one of all of those guys with the elite skill of his feet. And yet it's just dink and dunk. There's never there was not just the electric play where it's like, I'm Kyler Murray. Fuck it. I'm just going to make a play. We see it with Caleb Williams. I mean, Caleb Williams, he's falling away from a guy zipping a ball in to just get 8 yards and move the chains. You're not seeing that from Kyler Murray consistently enough. It feels just like there's just not enough juice. And they've got to go back to the drawing board. If your defense gives up 16 points on the road against a divisional opponent, you got to find a way to win that game. You just have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, both of those teams needed to win that game, but the 49ers had all the excuses in the world to lose that one, and Cardinals just didn't take advantage. The Chiefs won an ugly game 22-9 against the New York Giants, but This game, putting New York to 0-3, resulted in the benching of Russell Wilson.
Right.
It's the Jackson Dart show finally starting in week 4. So if anything good maybe was to come out of this game for New York, that was it. Meanwhile, the Chiefs desperately needed a win, so they'll at this point take it any way they can get it. Still not looking very good. A lot of concerns about this team. A lot of concerns about where their run game is, but they did get a few nice kind of explosive runs for what seems like the first time this season in this one. So maybe a slight step in the right direction. We saw Tyquan Thornton have a big game, but there's still just a lot of question marks about what this Kansas City offense is and what it can become. But you'll take a win to stop the bleeding. They did not want to go 0-3, of course.
Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and yet it was George Karlaftis who was the best defensive player in this game. Like, he was the one who was disruptive. Yeah. This Giants team, only 2 sacks against a solid Chiefs offensive line. It's not an elite offensive line. It's just not good enough. They need to hang their hat on being that team. Malik Neighbors, 2 catches, 13 yards. Listen, they gave Russ a chance. They gave you a chance. You had 3 games. They gave you a chance. Yeah. But when Cam Scatabo is getting 8 targets, 6 catches for 61 yards, you got to bench him. It's not at all what your team needs. Scatabo is a lot of fun. He's good. And now with Tracy out, he's going to get a ton of play.
Yeah, definitely.
For the Chiefs, I'm not panicking. But I will say I expected more from the tight ends. Gray and Kelsey just weren't factors. And now this kid, Tyquan Thornton, 5 catches, 71 yards, touchdown. He looked like, okay, maybe he could be a weapon for Kansas City, like came out of nowhere. He was a 2022 second rounder from Baylor that the Pats drafted. Maybe they can turn him into something. It's just, you see Mahomes. It's like that Ferrari parked in a homeless shelter. It's like you see this dude with so much to give and so much to work with, and it just feels like everything around him is not good enough. I don't know if the Chiefs need a Matt Nagy, Andy Reid kind of shakeup. It just feels like they need someone to leave and someone to come in with maybe just a little bit of fresh perspective. And then they need the ownership and they need the GM to say, fuck it, we're trading up in the first round to go getting a stud wide receiver. We're going into a stud. Like, they got to go get a guy. I think I said it last year. Like, the Chiefs should just go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't care. Like, your window is now. It is now. It is open. Like, this is not good enough. Even when Rashid Rice comes back, it's just not good enough. And that is frustrating if you're a Chiefs fan. It's got to be.
It is. Yeah, it's it's concerning. I mean, I would be concerned. I know Nick Wright is out on his tour about how there's nothing to see here type of thing. I don't know, man.
The Ravens will be 1-3. And we're about to talk about the Ravens. Now, I think I agree with Nick Wright. He said on the Herd today, I would rather have the Chiefs' problems than the Ravens' problems, because the Ravens' problems are you can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, their defense is yeah.
And the Chiefs' defense
should have been better this year.
Yes, and the Chiefs' defense is very solid, and they still have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Lamar can only do so much. Lamar played very well, and yet they gave up 38 points at home, Dan.
But Lamar also, and it was definitely on the line a lot, but I felt like Lamar really wanted to just try and find a lane in this game at times, and I think it was because it was early. He was noted, like, the pressure was getting to him early. So it was half Lamar, half the offensive line in this game. 7 sacks. I mean,
7 is brutal. They led 21-14 after the first touchdown possession of the third quarter. So at the start of the third quarter, you're up 21-14 at home. Yeah. And you lose 38-30. Really,
and it was weird because it really did feel like the Lions had control for the majority of this game, even though the Ravens, to your point, had a lead early in the second half, it still felt like the Lions were the team that were consistently running the football.
Well, Muhammad
and
had
getting the big plays.
Dude,
off,
the Lions front seven and the Lions offensive line were the most impressive things in this game.
38 carries, 224 yards.
They beat the shit. Listen, my biggest frustration with Ryan Poles as a GM has not been the drafting, which has been bad, but it's been you let David Montgomery walk away, and now I'm stuck with DeAndre Swift. David Montgomery is a absolute stud. He's a brilliant
starting running back in the NFL.
He was great with the Bears when he was there, and they didn't want to pay him, and that was the biggest mistake of Ryan Poles' career, in my opinion, so far as a GM. And that includes Velus Jones and a lot of other bullshit. Jared Goff I heard somewhere he's 11-1 in prime time. He's the opposite of Kirk Cousins. It's why I said 2 years ago or whatever, he is now the guy of the next group. Like, I don't care. You want to talk about Allen. You want to talk about Mahomes. You want to talk about
Burrow
Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar,
and Herbert. Jared Goff is the guy of the next group. He's so good. 28 of 20. Everything is easy. Everything is smooth. When he is playing within rhythm with timing, it's elite. Dan, ugly turnover and downs with goal line from Baltimore early in the second. The fumble from Lamar, and it just felt like they just didn't have the physical capability of playing with the physical capability of the Detroit Lions. And Lamar tried to make it work, but Detroit just said, no, we're going to run the shit out of the football, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
Yep. Yeah, and that's really what it boiled down to. I mean, the Ravens abandoned the run too much in this game. Derrick Henry had a very, very bad untimely fumble as well.
Yeah, that was bad.
That cost them late in this one too. So there's a lot of factors in there. But yeah, they're 1-2. Chiefs are 1-2. Some surprises for sure.
If you could have bet that in the week 4 matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs, they'd both be 1-2, you would have gotten plus 10,000 odds on that. That's insane.
Yeah. Or even just that one of them would be 1-3 going into week 5.
It's crazy to think about. So listen, Detroit, how do you feel about Detroit really quickly? Like I just did I did the power rankings for us. And it's like I struggle putting them ahead of Green Bay because they lost to Green Bay, but
I think they're a better team than Green Bay overall. Like, yes, they did lose to them for sure, but
the week 1, it just what does it mean? What does it matter? You know what I mean? It's a lot of that. I feel like,
and it's understandable that there's some sort of growing pains with a completely new play callers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just roster wise, Dan Campbell wise. I have felt confident about this team.
I like that. Dan Campbell wise. It's very true.
So yeah, no, I feel good about them. And not to make this entire episode or conversation or whatever about the Steelers, but the AFC North is all of a sudden very interesting. If the Ravens lose next week, they're 1-3. The Bengals don't have Joe Burrow. The Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns.
And yet you're playing the Vikings
in the division at that point.
Well, you're playing, but it sucks for you because you're stuck getting sent overseas as a sideshow to play a Vikings team that's very dangerous
and taking away, a home game for that game as well. So yeah, no, and obviously like 1-3 is surmountable for Baltimore. So that's not like end of season or
the Chiefs. It's for the Chiefs too, I think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, both of them can certainly come back and make the playoffs and win their divisions after a 1-3 start. But it's not a place you want to be, and it's also a place if you're an opponent that you want to take advantage and start to stack those early and create that separation to provide. It's kind of like what we're seeing with the Chicago Cubs, who have been pretty brutal as of late and had a really rough August. They banked a ton of wins in April and May that got them to the point where they're in the playoffs. Come October. So.
I'll say bold take really quickly. I don't think the Chiefs win their division if they start 1-3.
Yeah, Chargers. I would agree because the Chargers are too good right now,
and the Chargers are at the Giants next week. The Giants are Chargers are at the Giants, going against Jackson Dart, rookie, making his
first
first start.
time in that defense.
Derwin James is the defensive player of the year so far this year. I mean,
I'll tell you what, Malik Neighbors about to get 15 targets next week, though. So that's
the smartest thing. If you're Jackson Dart, just fucking feed
absolutely.
him. Just feed him right now. Can we give a little shout out to the fact that the leaders in touchdown passes through week 3 with 7, Aaron Rodgers and Caleb Williams. We know offense at the Football Lounge.
Let's go. Yeah, one of our offenses is feeling a little bit better than the other, but the two touchdown throws from Rodgers were classic Rodgers, though. The nice fade to Metcalf and the back shoulder throw to Austin. Those are throwbacks for sure.
Listen. I think that I hate that I got to wake up early to watch Steelers Vikings next week.
Oh yeah, because it'll be 8:30 for you.
And I'm telling you, I really think this Vikings team. I have no idea what to expect, and I think
I don't feel good about it. Yeah,
no, it's a must. It's kind of a must-win situation for Pittsburgh, being in that, like you said, the division right now is kind of just falling apart around you, and someone has got to grab it by the horns.
Yeah, and start to establish something. I mean, you got to show some sort of life in the run game and offensively in general.
2 big games for our teams next week.
Yeah,
big games for our teams.
Most definitely. All right, a robust show. Gotta love it. We'll be tuned into week 4 this weekend and into next week, and we'll see on Tuesday, of course, for our week 4 recap, which kicks off here on Thursday with the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Not the most enticing matchup to launch ourselves into week 4, but we'll take it. Nonetheless, it is a divisional matchup. So we'll see y'all soon, and thank you for watching. As always, subscribe, like. It helps us a lot on YouTube. You can catch us wherever you listen to your podcasts, and
we're there.
Give some love to For Frequency's Sake, the network in general. A lot of good shows for you to watch out there. The Football Lounge, by the way, in the Toys for Tots League, looking pretty good so far. So I'm just going to say we're doing well through 3 weeks. All right, we'll see you next time.